Hey, good morning to a few of you on here. You know what? I just doing a little live stream here. Going to answer a couple of your questions and everything. I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm going to try my best to do more and more live streams going forward. Mainly because this is kind of where it's at, is the live streaming side of. Somebody said no sound. Is there really no sound? Or is that from when the it was just scrolling through? I think that's what it was, because there was no sound when it was just scrolling through there. I just had some stuff up. I probably should put some music on it. But my point is, and I digress, I haven't done one of these live streams in a while. Need to do more of them. That's where it's all at. Really want to try to make this a full-time kind of gig. And it starts and ends with live streaming, especially when we get closer to significant typhoon season here. And we do have a storm coming up, or a potential storm out here in the Western Pacific. So I'm going to do my best to kind of break down what I'm looking at this time. And even right here, I got my graphics from Metro Weather's Weatherscape kind of scrolling through here. You can kind of see a low pressure area developing by next week, the Thursday heading into Friday. Moving over the Philippines, maybe with the GFS even showing the potential for a significant storm east of the Philippines, a full-on typhoon out there. So let's break this down. If you have questions, I want to interact with you guys. Let's talk about this together here and kind of go through what I'm looking at. I'm putting together a separate video that's really just going to be about kind of straight through and talking what's happening out there as well. But this is just mainly live stream to kind of get your guys' kind of ideas of what you're thinking here. So yeah, let me look at something here though while this is scrolling through, and I'll read some of your questions here and everything as well. So just kind of reading something here. What I'm trying to do, I've never done these super chats before, so I don't know. I'm going to just try something here. If you guys know what they are, I'm just trying more and more things here. I set a super chat goal here on the live stream. It was like, do you want to do this? I'm sure. If you guys want to support the channel, like I said, trying to do more of these, and I would love to do more live streams as well. Like I said, I'm going to make a separate video, though, that's really straight to the point, but I'm here to answer some of your questions and take some and read some of your comments here. Like, Scott says, I sure hope not. I fly into Manila. Hey, by the way, Scott's Philippines Adventures. I've watched a couple of your videos. Good stuff there, man. And I envy that. I really do. I watch some of your stuff and I go, man, I wish I would love to be a Philippine vlogger. Not like Vitali. Not like that, showing the good side of things. I think it would be great. Peter says, will it cut across the Philippines? RJ also, good morning. When will experience the rainy season? Okay, I'm going to answer that question too. I'm going to answer Peter's question here. Will it cut across the Philippines? Jim also says it's hot here in Subic Bay. Man, the heat has been scorching out there. Will you get some relief soon too? And I'll answer that question in just a moment too. RJ also asking, wait, that's the same question. Oh no, it's not. When we'll experience a rainy season, at least some cold weather. Okay, it is the same. And good morning, hello from Baguio. Stan says, if you watch my video, viral videos, or more like videos people sent me this morning, I uploaded it, or yesterday. I had a video out of Baguio of the fog there. It was really cool. For who is watching in the U.S. right now, good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon for people watching in the U.S., for people watching out of Europe. I'm sure people watching all over the world this morning with the Pope's funeral as well. I was watching that. All over the world there too, and thank you for everybody jumping in here. How about Bonzo says, is it true that the system doesn't rapidly develop more of a westerly track, somewhat similar to, okay, is it true that if the system does not rapidly develop, then more of a westerly track. Not quite sure what you're asking there, Bonzo, but I'll talk about the different outcomes here right now. Let's get into it. Let's break this down here for you and then I'll come back and answer some more of your questions. So first off, let's go over towards our satellite picture here, and here's the broad view. And I want to set the landscape here for you because we have Invest 99W, but we also have this area of convection right behind it. Now you want to pay attention to both of these because I think they're going to kind of absorb each other. And really, this is the area where I'm circling that we're keeping a very close eye on. Let me see something real quick. All right, hold on. Sorry, I'm new to the streaming thing, so I'm kind of hitting the wrong buttons and stuff. But I think I got it now. All right, so yeah, that's where you see all those circles there. I'm keeping an eye on that. All right, hold on a second. I need to get another monitor to set some of this stuff up too. It's just a mess. All right, so see all those circles there. Then we have the subtropical ridge right in here, and then we actually have the Mayu Bayou front located right in there. So what's going on is, will this subtropical ridge hold in place over the upcoming week and allow this area to turn towards the north, and it maintains more energy over the warm waters of the Philippine Sea? Or is it going to get wrapped up with the easterlies and come across Mindanao and generally stay weaker? These are our two options here that we have. Now, this would mean more rainfall for Visayas and Mindanao, and eventually it could actually intensify off of the west coast of the Philippines. In this scenario I'm showing you right here, this is actually the ECMWF. It's expecting it to track further towards the west. And actually you can see here by Thursday. So Thursday being the first, heading into the second, you have a low pressure center coming ashore just around Siargao into Visayas, Leyte, and Samar, typhoon country right in there. And even over towards Cebu by Friday into Saturday, scattered showers increasing based on the ECMWF outlook, kind of coming up like this. And then actually some of the ECMWF intensifies it west of the Philippines. The GFS, on the other hand, kind of has like this with more energy, but if it did take a track east of the Philippines and didn't impact you directly, we would have to also still kind of think about the impacts from what would be the enhanced monsoon or the Habagat, actually, or at least the start of Habagat. So let me explain. First off, here's you go. This is from Weather Nerds, great website, by the way, weathernerds.org here. The ECMWF versus the GFS. Now, the model's still coming in, but it does have a couple runs there. And you can see it coming across the Philippines just like that. You have the GFS right in here, kind of keeps it east of the Philippines. So let's bounce over to Windy here. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So this is the GFS on Windy. Everybody loves Windy. A lot of times people say, oh, well, Windy says this. Remember, Windy is a platform. There's GFS, ECMWF, Icon, and Access available for the Western Pacific, 4 different models. All right, so the GFS keeps this storm east of the Philippines and really ramps up. And in this scenario, rapid intensification would not surprise me whatsoever. In fact, I was going to maybe pull up sea surface temperatures. That's what I want. Let's see if that pops up on the side here. Let's see. Here we go. Let's go sea surface temperatures. And let's click around here, 86. What do I got in Fahrenheit? Let's switch over to Celsius. Here we go. We need about 28 to 29 degrees. This is all 30. I think we got some spots out here that might be around 31 degrees. Point is, rather warm, right? So if it stays east of the Philippines, that would allow for some pretty decent rapid intensification. If it goes west of or goes over the Philippines and it heads off towards the west, as the ECMWF has been hinting at, it's just less time for development. But there has been some ECMWF runs that show this. What just happened? Hit the wrong button, my goodness. That show this going off towards the west and kind of intensifying off of the west coast. Now, let's go back to the GFS, and let's say this does decide it wants to stay off offshore. And by the 5th into the 6th, it decides it's going to curve. It's Ogasawara Islands problem off towards the north and east of Luzon. In this scenario, we would be talking about maybe an enhanced Tabagat situation, because we would get kind of that river of moisture setting up on the back side of it, flowing in. And as I think it was Bonzo asked here a moment ago, would this allow for cooler conditions and moisture to flow in? And that would be the scenario. Now, if you want to twist my arm and put me on the spot here and say, Robert, I don't care about all this numerical guidance. You've been doing this for how long? Tell me, what is your opinion? I would probably lean to the ECMWF, that this area would pull out here, kind of run over the Philippines as a tropical depression or a maybe tropical storm, a big rainmaker from Mindanao into Visayas, Palawan, and then eventually maybe out towards Manila. Now, I'll go back to the, one other thing I want to show you before we get a little bit further in here, and I'll take some more of your questions, is if we take a look at the ECMWF ensembles. Now, remember the ensembles being the, if you watch my updates, I explain this every time, but not everybody gets it. An ensemble is basically your operational weather models run by a supercomputer. They basically spit out like 50 different models, and then they average that together. The ensemble is that all kind of broken apart. So think of, you know, if you got a pizza, but you baked every single individual slice different, and then you put it together and you have a pizza pie. Now, but the ensemble is basically taking every single one of those pieces, a pizza apart here. So what you have is, you can see that there's a lot of confidence this could actually develop into something off the West Coast, but the latest ECMWRF is showing something over the Philippines, Visayas area, and then eventually skirting off towards the north there. So, you know, there's a range here. Now, if you were going to put a gun to my head and say, I don't care, tell me what's going to happen, I would probably say it's going to be closer to what the ECMWF is saying as far as increasing rainfall out there across the Philippines. All right, I'm going to go back. I digress and answer a few of your questions. Let this loop through here, because that's what I kind of want to go through and answer your questions, do more of these live updates. And if you're just jumping in now, like I said, I don't typically do these live updates, but I really want to make more of them. So what you're seeing right now, and it's just going to loop through, I'm going to answer some of your questions. It's basically my show that I do every day. This is from Metro Weather's weather graphics. It's just kind of looping through the fantastic graphics they have. And you might see some that I don't typically use as well here. And there's more in the library I could pull out here. If you have any specific graphics you would like to see for a specific area or city, maybe we can build that up. So anyways, so let's Messiah says, for who, oh no, you already read that one. Good morning. Good thing to listen to on a walk. Mo says, where are you walking, Mo? Where are you at? Where are you gonna go here this morning? You got a nice cup of coffee with you? I would love a nice, actually I got my cup right here. It says it's Snorlax. It says but first coffee, and he's sleeping. Yeah. yeah. All right, let's go ahead here and read. It's hot in Pampanga, very dangerous. Yes, for sure. Actually, I think one of my next graphics coming up here is about, oh, that's Climal. That's actually the outlook, the typhoon prediction from Bagasa for areas inside of the PAR, but I do have another couple graphics here talking about the heat. Let's see here next. Is it true? Okay, I already read that one. Cloudy weather here in Davao, sir. Good morning. Actually, speaking of Davao, there, Marv, you know, shout out to you, man, for just popping in here, because I do want to note that Pagasa does have a flood advisory. Oops, wrong button. Pagasa does have a flood advisory in place for you, for that intertropical convergence zone. The easterlies pushing across parts of Mindanao there. So yeah, just watch out for that. You said it's cloudy. I know that, especially on the East Coast, you have that area of convection somewhat associated with Invest 99W that is pumping in across your area. So yeah, just shout out to you. Thanks for stopping by, and make sure you're staying dry out there. Let's see. Steve says, your channel is awesome. Big fan, retired U.S. Army nurse living in Baguio. Steve, you know what? I envy you, man. I envy you. That sounds awesome. If I could get enough pay to do this full time, I would try to spend several months in Baguio, which, you know, hopefully we get a not just Baguio, but the Philippines, but Baguio definitely would be on the list of places I would like to set up. Beautiful spot out there. You know, if you know anybody that would want to sponsor the channel, guys, let me know. But I digress. Let's talk more weather. Hawk says, former weather-aware Oklahoma living in Lanuza. Is that along the coast? I believe it is. Enjoy your show. Thanks, Hawk. Oklahoma, man, you got all the tornadoes. Philippines gets tornadoes too, though. I'll tell you that. More than I expected, actually. I get videos every other month from people out here saying, hey, we got... usually water spouts that come ashore, but occasionally it'll be a good tornado. Richard says we have 4 small fishing boats that operate just north of Beery. 2 are out there now. What does it look like over the upcoming week? Now rained last night, so let me take a gander here for you, because it's a good question. So Beery being first, I have to specifically, I'll admit, I wasn't quite sure where you were. But now I see it. Wow, that is a small, are you talking about the Beery Island? That's a small island. A lot of pretty stuff there. It looks gorgeous. Looks like a gorgeous spot. So over the upcoming week. So, you know, in either scenario, if we're talking about, since you are just north of Lake Dane Samar, I think in either scenario versus the GFS versus the ECMWF or anything developing out here, you're probably going to be getting some nasty conditions, especially the GFS. I mean, look at this by the 3rd into the 4th. I mean, that would be, at least the winds are coming offshore. So, but you would still be looking at some pretty decent swells out there. Let's pull up the, and I'm sure you've probably already looked at a lot of this, but let's pull up the waves here. I mean, that's no joke. 10 feet, 16 feet. You know what? I'm going to stop being so American. 2 to 3 meters there. That's a rough go. Of course, in sheltered spots on the West Coast. Now, if the GFS did keep this storm, if the storm does stay east, of course, it would be a lot drier until we start to see kind of a monsoonal inflow setup. Now, if this area does kind of push further towards the west, it definitely would be more so by next Thursday the Friday, that a good portion of a size, including Beery, or is it Byrie? Let me know if I'm saying that wrong. You would start to see more rainfall kind of get picked up in here as well. So that's the GFS by the 3rd. And then you can see here the ECMWF by the 3rd, kind of showing just scattered showers all across the Visayas, because that area of low pressure kind of drifts off further towards the west there. So I hope that answers your question. Good question. Good question. Let's go back and keep on reading some of these. And if you guys just want me to go through and keep talking here about, the forecast, I can do that as well. But I'm going to have a separate video kind of doing that, and it gets straight to the point. So if you're coming in and you're going, he's rambling, he's not getting to the point, it's because I'm taking some of your questions. That's why we're doing a live stream. I love this type of stuff. Let's see. So Richard, thanks for asking that question there. Journeys says, watching from Journey in Bohol. You know what? I want to watch your channel, Journey in Bohol. Is it a vlogging channel? That sounds cool. Rob, watching from here, SNI plans on doing a 2025 typhoon track forecast in the future. I did do a 2025 typhoon outlook. Check this channel. If you missed it, it didn't do very well on views, so you probably did miss it, but I did do a 2025 typhoon outlook. I expect it right about average, slightly above average, and since we're kind of in a weak La Nina, which Ken just asked about that, any updates on El Nino or La Nina? So we are in a weak La Nina right now, which means that sort of more storms towards the Philippines. Basically, I would anticipate more storms hitting Visayas, Mindanao, because we get straight runners often when we get a full-blown La Nina. So since we have a weak La Nina in place, we're probably going to see more storms heading towards the Philippines versus recurving. So about average in the total number in the Western Pacific, but a slightly above average typhoons in my forecast for 2025 for just general for the Philippines. In fact, you know what? While I'm doing this here, I'm gonna get my mug off the screen. I'm gonna go over here and see if I can pull up my 2025 typhoon season outlook, which I'm pretty sure I just have on my Facebook page. So 2025 typhoon season outlook. Let's see if I have the first thing that'll pop up is the graphic for it. Oh, here we are. Also, if you ever go to westernpacificweather.com, I believe it's there too. You can search all this stuff. Yeah, the website still runs. I just don't really treat it. So this was the nice little graphic I made for that. 27 named storms, 18 typhoons, 7 super typhoons, 20 entering the Philippine Air Responsibility for 2025 with 10 landfalls. And I did also, let me go back here. I did have a bunch of other graphics to go with it. Let me see if I can find them. All right, hold on. Let's see if I have all the other graphics that went with it here, because there's a couple here that I made just showing. Oh yeah, here we go. So we'll bounce back over to this, and yeah, so the one on the right here, kind of, or right there, that's the average monthly number of typhoons by ENSO phase. And what's really interesting is that you can see La Nina typically is well above average for overall typhoons being formed up. So yeah, since we're in a slight La Nina or a positive PDO, it all just kind of indicates average to slightly above average. So hopefully that answers your question as well. Yeah, try my best to kind of read through some of these here. Let's see what else we got. So Richard says, yes, Beery Island is pronounced Berry. Thanks, Richard. Now I know. That's what, if I'm anything, I'm trying to be humble on my locations, because I've been doing this for so long, I don't know all the islands, so I appreciate you helping me out there. I've been watching the channel for 3 years, so you've been through a few good storms probably out there on that island, Richard. If you ever go through any, and you have any good photos or videos you want to share with us, please send them my way. westernpacificweather@gmail.com. Trying to get more engagement on that email. I'm also thinking about making an email distro list to just send stuff out to if you guys think you want to sign up for something like that. But hit the notification on this channel. That's the best way to get notified for new updates, is that if you're watching here on YouTube, you hit the notification for to be able to just it'll pop up on your phone that I post something. Not every channel does it, but just when I post something, because my updates after like 6 hours are no longer terribly useful, because things might have changed, or if there's a typhoon, I try to post new updates like at six hours every time, so yeah, if you subscribe, but also make sure you hit that notification button, you'll get the most the newest information. Hey, Mo says the Palawan winds were hitting on and off showers for the past week. Yeah, just part of the easterlies, man. You can see it on this graphic right here. Just the easterlies coming across there, Mindanao over towards Palawan. The Sulu Sea really fueling things up there for you too. Journeys in Bothole said, yes, I watched your typhoon forecast for 2025 and do have a channel building a hilltop house that overlooks Cebu City. Ooh, look at you. Man, I'm jealous of all y'all. I tell you, that sounds beautiful. Send me a photo if you get a chance. If you have any weather in your area, I would love to see something overviewing Cebu City. I'm going to use it in my weekly viewer submitted photos segments. If you don't mind, I would love that. It would make my day. I could use that in there. I'll give your channel a little shout out. I know that ain't much, but I appreciate it. I believe there was chirping in the past about you coming to the Philippines. Any updates on that? Yes, there was chirping. Money. I was definitely planning on it. It was on the schedule and everything, and it was supposed to be in March to April. It still is in the works, in the sense that I want to. It's there. I really am actually thinking long term right now, and I'm really trying my best to position myself so I can pay my bills and do this full time. But a trip to the Philippines is just not in the cards with that. But with that said, I want to, and my goal is to go to Manila, Isabela, Cebu, and Siargao. So I want to bounce around. So there's a bunch of stuff. Oh, and Baguio. I would like to stop by Baguio as well. I want to go everywhere, which means I would take a lot of planning and a little bit of funding with it. So there was chirping about it, and it still is. The chirping is still there. So hey, we got the I put the super chat on here if you guys want to support me and help me get closer to that. I don't like begging for money. I hate doing that. It really is, but part of being a YouTuber, I guess. So David says, great. Bonzo, I'm glad you remember that, though. Thank you so much. Hello from Pangasinan, taking a road trip around the 5th to the 10th of May in northern Luzon. Will it be dry? Ooh, that's a good question, David. And I only say because I am a little worried about the scenario. All right, so going back to this, and if you're just jumping in right now, I'm going to recap real quick here. So will there be a typhoon? Well, right now we have this area of convection south and east of Mindanao, right? If you watched any of the most recent updates, we've been talking about this. And you've also probably seen the different, this is actually a pretty decent amount of convection flaring up right there. So you've seen the different ideas I've had about this moving towards the west over Mindanao and Visayas. Per the ECMWF, that's kind of what that's been showing. And the GFS pulls it towards the north, the Philippines being right here, if you can't really tell. All right. So if it goes west of the Philippines, this could actually wrap back around. And maybe by the 5th into the 10th kind of, and you see right here per the ECMWF, kind of tracking back over on the 4th, 5th, and the 6th right here, bringing some scattered showers and stability. And even if, let's say it stays towards the east and it pulls off towards the north, what you could get is almost a habagat or a river of moisture type setup like that, which could push in some moisture. So if you got a trip across northern areas of Luzon, I'm not going to say it's going to be a washout, but definitely it's been hot and dry, especially in the Cagayan Valley, for a couple weeks now, outside of a few isolated showers. I think it's going to be a lot more unstable as we head into the 5th over to the 6th. In either scenario, if this does develop into some, I believe we're going to have an LPA no matter what. So even a weak LPA, that eventually is going to round and lift towards the north, increasing instability, and then you'll see showers. It'll just troughing. If we get a full-on typhoon east of it, which is possible, I think less likely, but possible, you would have to contend with kind of that flow backing in on the back side of this as it pulls away. You can see right, where's my graphic? Like, see right there, that flow coming in on the back side of it. So, yeah, that's a couple different things here to watch out for sure. All right, let me go back to answering a couple more of your questions. Good question, though. Good question. Planning on a trip to Siargao May 5th. What do you think the weather will be by then? Hopefully most of this does start to move north of Siargao by May 5th. I believe that, yeah, you're probably going to, even the GFS, a more aggressive storm by the 4th and the 5th, the storms east of Visayas and Mindanao, which kind of put you on the drier side of things. But it really just depends, Scott's Philippine adventures there. Yeah, it really, it just depends on kind of where you line up there. But I think that if you arrive on the 5th, at least by the 6th to the 7th, this is most likely going to be towards the north. So you might be on the back side of it. Strong rainfall here in Baguio, especially in the afternoon. Yeah, I mean, you have been seeing kind of those local storms. And even our next image coming up here, I believe, is a zoomed-in satellite picture of the Philippines. It should be. I'm just kind of looping along. Yeah, look over central Luzon here towards the north. You can kind of see that convection just flaring up over the Cordillera Mountains. Yeah, that's going to bring those local showers in Baguio. Yeah, you've been getting that kind of, it's orographic lifting, really popping off those showers there for you. Messiah says, Robert, when will you visit the Philippines again? Oh, like I said, we're hopefully sooner than later. I really want to go. I'm telling you, it all depends on money, time off. That's what happens when you got a full-time job and you got bills to pay. Like I've mentioned, I really, really want to. I want to do this full time. I can't stress that enough. So, yeah, support the channel, and that's all I can say for now. Or if you know anybody that wants to sponsor us, but I would like to get out there. I would like to spend several months at a time in the Philippines, because that's where, you know, the big base is here. So that's my eventual goal, right? It always, you know, life has a way of throwing you a bone sometimes. I was in Japan for the longest time. I worked in the Philippines, but it would be nice to go back out that way. Journeys in Bohol, it says again here, let's make sure to hit that button, guys, gals. Thanks. I truly appreciate that. And Scott, thanks for the little love there. I appreciate it. Hell yeah. Part of my language. Heck yeah. Scott's Philippine Adventures. Thanks for jumping in and helping out here. Can I like this more? Yes. All right. Truly. All right. So I'm going to, let me shout out to Scott's Philippine Adventure. You guys give him a subscribe there too. I'm sure some good vlogging going on there. Have you ever thought about becoming a storm chaser? Ken asked. Not only thought, but have done. Now, do you mean in specifically in the Philippines? I haven't chased a good storm in the Philippines. Chased them all over Japan, Taiwan, and in the United States, I've gone through a bunch of hurricanes. I have not chased tornadoes, although I have seen tornadoes and waterspouts, but not like a big Oklahoma tornado alley type chase. But I have gone out in plenty of hurricanes and covered on live TV in a hurricane, the classic, it's windy, and then everybody's like, weather guy. I have done that. So good question there. All right, so I think I'm all caught up right now on the comments here, so keep them coming though. I'm gonna go through again, and I think I'm gonna keep this stream going for how long has this stream been going for? Let me see. 33 minutes. We can go another 15-20 minutes. I'm trying to do this every day. Try to set a time. Comment as well, since I want to get your guys' feedback. When is the best time that you think I could come on here? Right now I'm coming on in the morning here. I'm thinking maybe when you wake up, you get that notification, you get a little Robert in your life, or would it be better in the evening? G Moore says, good morning from Ilocos Norte. Love Ilocos Norte. Mountains and everything up there. Just beautiful area. Shout out to you out there. Abra is in Ilocos Norte, right? Or is that just Abra? Same area, isn't it? Or am I completely off? I got some coffee from there and it was so good. All right. So let's go back through again. You know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to talk about the graphics on the screen. Let's do that. First, let's start off with our satellite picture, because first off, it's Invest 99W, right? Area of convection out here, south and east of Mindanao. We have other area right in there. Remember, I think these are going to kind of merge and basically shove off towards the west here. Already have been seeing pretty decent rainfall, though, in parts of Mindanao, saying it's cloudy out here, mainly because of the easterlies. We actually have a flood advisory from Pagasa, saying, there's that increase in rain. Could see some localized flooding. It's not a flood warning, it's a flood advisory, saying, there's a potential there, especially in some of those low-lying, traditionally flooded areas. See, the ECMWF is showing a kind of LPA off of the east coast of Mindanao by next Thursday. So we're talking about the 1st of May. ECMWF is the weaker of these. If we scoot over to with the GFS, that's a global forecasting system, by the 1st, also showing kind of a more tropical storm off of the east coast of the Philippines, but almost in the same spot as the ECMWF is showing, but much stronger. See the ECMWF there. Here's your GFS. All right, so let's scoot the GFS a little bit higher, because the GFS is expecting the subtropical ridge to kind of break down a little bit. All right, just like that. And you get some pretty decent troughing coming in like that. So that's going to allow this to turn towards the north. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And now it's possible. And if this did happen, it would have much more time over open water, which would allow it to intensify up more so. there's definitely disparity here, which is why we really need to get that low-level circulation a little bit tighter so we can get a better idea. In either case, there's going to be rainfall across Mindanao, Visayas, and southern areas of Luzon. It just depends on how much takes place. The ECMWF showing here about 50 millimeters, maybe upwards to 50 to 100 in spots of Mindanao. That's indicated there in the green, but it really just depends on how this takes place and how that subtropical ridge, that's all these lines with the high pressure ridge back here towards the east, if that stays in place and kind of buffers this off towards the west. And also just depends on where this forms up. If it forms up in that area of cloud cover, organizes a bit quicker, closer to the Philippines, then it would obviously not have a lot of time to develop. If it forms up back here south of Yap or even south of Guam, where that convection is coming up with easterlies, it's going to have a little bit more time and probably will do that hook towards the north. I don't like being wishy-washy, and like I said, if you want to put a gun to my head, I would say likely LPA and likely going to see this move across the Philippines per what the ECMWF is saying. Regardless, here on Monday, as we go ahead through Sunday, Monday starting off the week, scattered showers across Mindanao, Visayas, heading over towards Palawan, 32 degrees there for you. You got that rainfall in your forecast. Love this flyover from Metro Weather's weather graphics here. And then scooting back towards the north, Rojas, you got 29. Manila, yeah, could see some afternoon thunderstorms, albeit I think it's just going to be more about the heat. Same in Subic, 37, hot. Pangasinan, hot. Baguio, a little bit cooler, but still warm. And then on Monday, still got scattered showers for the Cagayan Valley out there across Isabela, off towards Cagayan. And yeah, it's going to be hot. I say this in every single one of my updates, but note your information through official sources. Don't rely on me solely, because sometimes I just can't be here unless I was doing this full time. And make sure you check in with Pagasa. I'm never going to hit Pagasa or say hate on them. Maybe 20 years ago, Pagasa, when I first started kind of doing these updates, but not 2025 Pagasa. 2005 Pagasa, yeah. They were, to be frank, terrible. Sorry, old timers there at the weather agency, but it was the graphics were terrible. The relay, the information was terrible. They've come a long way, and the people that are in there now were doing an amazing job. Almost putting me out of business here, because back when I first started this, I needed to be here because it was so terrible. Remember with those heat indices, though, in those warmer spots like Subic, Pangasinan, where you're in Cagayan Valley, where you're pushing the heat index over 40, those heat cramps can really set up pretty quickly. And even if it's cloudy, the heat index is low, and that's not the case. High humidity, still going to be hot out there. So, yeah. Let's see what if we got any more comments here. Journeys to Bohol says, not much rain here in Bohol for weeks. Yeah, that's why, a good portion of Visayas needs to rain out there. Messiah says, not a lot of wind in Bohol as well. A lot of you are out there. You guys all should meet up and talk weather. Experiencing a bit of a drought. Yeah, and you know what? I think like what you're seeing on the graphic right there, you got that flow coming across. That would be the best case scenario, just like this, kind of those easterlies pumping on through. Please put your email up on YouTube. So it is in the description now, and I've been trying to get in a habit of just putting it in the description, but I'll type it in the chat right now. Western Pacific Weather at gmail.com. There. Simple, to the point. Western Pacific Weather at gmail.com. That's the I'm going to try to get more use out of that specific email, so y'all can if you want to send me some cool photos or anything like that. Let's see some other questions here. Not much rain here for Bolt. Okay, we're right about that. Owen says it used to be wet and very wet. We haven't had a storm system yet. And when I say storm system, I mean a typhoon yet in 2025, which I know if you're from the Atlantic, I say from the Atlantic, but if you cover storms in the Atlantic, you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? It's not even hurricane season yet. Not in the Western Pacific. It's unusual for us to get all the way to the month of May and not even have a tropical depression. A little weird. Storms pass similar to Sergei, aka Haiyan. It says The GFS there, yeah, kind of similar to a lot of storms. If the GFS is right, with this kind of pulling east of the Philippines per, like you see it right here, like this, the pulling east of the Philippines. It's very similar to a lot of storms that have ventured out in this area where it stays just east, just absolute bees, brushes, Samar, Cassie Gordon. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen because there is such a disparity between these models. We really need to get this convection in a low level center kind of kicked in here. And actually, you know what? While I'm addressing that, let me pull up and see if I can find some good ASCAT imagery. You're probably saying, would you just call your cat ASCAT imagery? Think about it and then you'll get it. ASCAT imagery is, oh man, we don't have any rats. Is basically satellite derived winds, the polar orbiter flying over these. Let me see. Maybe I can get rabbits. Nope, nothing there. Nope, not there. Oh, here we go. So this is the satellites flying over the water surfaces, and it gives an idea of what the winds are based on the wind waves. Pretty cool stuff. Technology's been here for a while. This is nothing new. But, yeah, you kind of see a little troughing right in there, but it needs to be a tighter circulation than that, something very concrete before we're like, okay, the models can pick up on that, because it needs that good initialization before we see some good forecasts. And I point this out because a lot of people have asking, okay, what about this, what about that? And really at this point it's tough, and why you got to continue to check back in for more updates, because it's tough to get that really kind of concrete answer on where this is going to go until we see something a bit more organized here. Lazaro says the Philippines only has 2 seasons, very hot and very wet. We are in the former. Yeah, right. And the very hot usually is in the middle of the southwest and northeast monsoon. We get that lull, so you're not getting any good winds in there as well. So just the heat. Is there a data on which model was more accurate over the past years, GFS or ACMWF? Ken asks. Ken, you know what? I'm not sure. I think I should look into that and see which one. If anybody has done after actions on it, I have not. But man, that would be interesting. I have seen in the past, based on my personal experience, the GFS, the Global Forecasting System, is more accurate in the long range forecast. It has those 360 hours out, but I don't always lean on them and say, but they've seen the grab storms quicker, inaccurately. The ECMWF for short range, in my opinion, has been more accurate in the short range for tropical systems, if that makes sense. I hope it does. I hope it does. Another really good question there. So yeah, I hope that answers your question there, Ken. I'm sorry it took me a moment to get to that. I see you had to ask it twice. I do apologize for that. Neo says sunny here in central west coast of Cebu. Fantastic. West Coast been getting the dry easterlies there, and western weather forecasting in West Pacific is a tough job. It is in the sense, especially with typhoons, and it's something I have to explain, and most people understand, but hurricane forecasters, because a lot of them don't even know how the Dvorak scale works. And Dvorak scale is basically, if you don't know, how we measure the intensity of hurricanes based on satellite imagery, and just kind of looking at a satellite and saying, okay, that's a Cat 3. If you're curious how, there's whole lectures on it out there. I probably should do one about it. But basically, you're taking the cold cloud tops, how the storm looks, its symmetry, in the difference between the coldest cloud and the warmest cloud near the eye, and there's all these factors. Kind of gives you an idea of what a storm is, what's intensity. We don't have hurricane hunters, so we don't have somebody flying through it and going, it's a 9-10 millibars, just don't have it. It's all just a guessing game. So an educated guessing game. So it makes things tough. And it makes it tough, especially here in this particular situation, because we don't have developed tight low-level circulation. So we don't have if we don't have a tight low level circulation, the models are just going to have issues with picking it up and saying, okay, that's where it is. This is where the mathematical equations within the numerical guidance say it should go. Remember, that's all models are, is a fancy calculator. That's one way to put it, but it truly is. So you need those good initializing factors, or else you're just fat fingering numbers into your calculator and you're not going to get the desired answer. So yeah. Larry says, any idea potential signal 1 or travel restrictions? No. I'm sorry, Larry. I know that's a rough answer you probably don't want, but no. I don't know. Not know you don't know about signal 1. I don't know. If you had to put a gun to my head, I would say probably parts of northeastern Mindanao or Visayas could eventually see it. At least signal 1 in the start of May, but I don't know, because like I said, we don't have that initializing factor yet in place here. This could develop and just shoot straight north and become a major typhoon, as the GFS has been showing, which would keep those signal force warnings from happening. You probably still get some flood warnings, but it would keep all the signal force stuff off towards the east. So yeah, hope that answers your question. I'm sorry. Sometimes I want to answer your question honestly, and sometimes I want to give you a good answer to said question, but yeah, it's one of those times where the legit answer is no. Hey, all right. Anyways, I am going to start wrapping up here, but I do want to say, if you want to still put it in the comments on here, let me know what if you like these live streams. I would love that. I know I'm not getting straight to the point, but I'm going to try my best to do these on the daily. Would you like to see them in the morning like we're seeing now? I'm going to try to maybe test it in the evening too. And then maybe try to do it at a specific time so you know to expect it. But do expect more live streams. I should have shared this on my Facebook page. I got a lot of people there too. I wonder if I could figure out how through OBS to put this streaming via YouTube and via Facebook, but right now it's just going to YouTube. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, or you don't have notifications on, please do that. Hit subscribe and hit those notifications as well. If you really want to support the channel, and shout out to Scott on here who donated $5. Check out the super chat you want to donate, or you can even check out our Patreon. Link is down below. We got plenty of people on Patreon who actually have been donating for a few years, some of them, which allows me to continue to afford these fantastic graphics from Metro Weather. These things are TV level stuff. Like ABS CBN, I think, uses these graphics, and so does TV9. They use the same exact computer box I use, which I find humbling and pretty remarkable that I'm able to do that, and that's because of our Patreon members and everything. So big shout out to everybody that supports the channel. And like I said, if you want to just subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. Anyways, here's all our Patreon members. I hope I answered some of your questions, and if you ever have any other questions, let me know. But Hershey had just asked here, and before I go, I'll answer some of your questions. So Hershey and Ginger says, is there any typhoon cert? Not right now. The key thing is that we need to wait and see if something develops. There could be one in a potential scenario if a storm moves towards the east of the Philippines, but right now there's not one, but it's possible by the start of May. All right. The rain is on and off in southern Luzon. The cloud cover is somewhat accurate. Yeah, cool. Bonzo says, with your background and experience, have you ever thought of being a part of the motley crew of TWC? Actually, I have freelance chased for the Weather Channel in Taiwan before. So yeah, but I have thought, I've applied with them, but then that would involve me moving to Atlanta, and I don't really want to move to Atlanta. So yeah. But they're cool guys. I'm friends with some people at the Weather Channel. They're all cool guys here. My goal is to kind of just work with you guys here at Western Pacific Weather in the Westpac Weather Studios, which is my spare bedroom. And could there be potentially the first typhoon in the Western Pacific in 2025? And that's what I'm thinking, Messiah. I'm thinking that if the GFS has its way and this area does spin up, this could be the first one. But we haven't seen one. We actually got our first red hash mark on the Climate Prediction Center outlook of 2025 here last week. So this would all be a lot of firsts. But you can see right here the ECMWF. I think this is the most likely scenario we have on the screen right now of a low pressure, maybe a tropical depression moving over the Philippines. But there is definitely a variety of potential outputs that could come with this. And if it stays east, it could become a stronger storm, moves over the Philippines, more of a big rainmaker. Once again, though, hey, if you want more of these updates, put it in the comment section here. Let me know. I mean, we got so much chat here, which is awesome. Like, I can't stress enough. I work on a TV channel too, and we do these type of updates, and I never get this level of engagement there, which is weird. And here I am. So that's wonderful. Because these live updates would be poop. When I say poop, I don't mean poop. You know what I mean? If there was no engagement. So thank you guys very much. Marv says thank you very much. Edward's saying hello, but sorry, Edward, I am saying goodbye because we've been on this live chat for 53 minutes now, and I got things to do. But if you missed this, I am currently going to churn here, and I'm going to edit up a video discussing everything I just talked about here, but in a much more 5-minute long video that goes straight to the point. So if you want a more detailed forecast, that's more than just memes, because I've seen people posting memes and they get like 1 million likes on Facebook. If you want more of a detailed forecast but is straight to the point, I am about to edit that up and I'll be publishing it in the next few minutes. So just stand by, and if hopefully you already hit that subscribe and click the notification, so you'll get that notification popping up on your phone that tells you that the video is ready to go. All right. Thanks for watching, friends. Man, you guys are awesome. I'm so excited. This stream that I just decided to test out here did so well. That is fantastic. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay safe out there, friends. Hope you have a great day.